So I'll call the meeting to order, and Tina, could you take the roll, please?
All right, let me just start up this recorder. All right, Donna Susek,
Here.
Walter Crusell,
Here.
Gina Sakala, Bob Corsati,
Here.
Marie Peisner is not coming tonight. She emailed us
Correct.
already. Scott Ryder,
Here.
Tim Neville,
Here.
Doug McSellen.
He's not gonna be here tonight.
Okay. Tina LeBlanc. No Tina yet.
Oh, there we are.
Jonathan LeBlanc.
Here.
Charlotte Riley.
I'm here.
Bethany Olet.
Here.
Melissa Everett.
She's on vacation.
Okay. Is Jaime on? Jaime Cisneros.
Not here yet.
Jeff Leonowitz. Jeff with us tonight, or Donald, are you
He's
in
on
his place?
vacation.
He's on
Okay.
vacation. It's gonna be me
Yep,
tonight.
I got you at down, Donald. And Chris Cycli, are you on?
I'm here.
Okay, is anybody else on since I see Sam just logged on. Sam
Tom's
Diagostino.
here.
Yep, I see you, I got you.
Here.
Okay.
And do I see Tom? I think I saw Tom on too. Tom Hibbert?
Yes, I'm here.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yep. All right. Take it away.
All right.
Donna.
Can I take a motion to approve the minutes from February 11th?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Show of hands.
Aye.
Okay, all in favor that are here? The minutes passed. Special guests, we have none. Old business. Chris, I'm going to turn that over to you, and you can update us on how we're doing with getting our money.
Sure. So phase one and phase two, there's no Barnard phase one and phase two. There's no change.
Okay.
I did speak to the state on today's Thursday, Tuesday, and Michelle is looking into phase two.
Okay.
Payment there. Phase three, JHS installed the chimney pipe extension yesterday. So
Okay.
actually Tuesday. I'm sorry, they installed it Tuesday. So that is now 100% complete. So for the next meeting, we will have final invoices from myself, JHS, and Tom Hibbert. And then after that, I'll schedule a meeting with the Board of Ed to go through and accept it as complete, and then we'll submit that paperwork for reimbursement and audit as well. So
Okay. Yeah, because the
that's
phase,
phase three.
the phase two, we should have been paid for quite a while ago, correct?
We should have, yes. And Michelle said that she thought that she had processed that. So she was going to go back and take a look.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay. Any questions
then-
on that from the committee?
No.
Okay. Eli Whitney, if you and Tom want to update us, Chris, on what
Sure.
we
So-
need to do and how far along you are.
There's nothing we need to do yet. I did
Okay.
I spoke to the state yesterday on both projects. They are reviewing them. We're still technically in the month of February.
Okay.
So he just had a couple of quick initial questions. Really, his questions were, "Wow, both projects are the same dollar value." And I said, "Yes." So that was the question. He actually thought it was a mistake, and I said, "No." I said, "That's all the town can allocate. So we're doing as much as we can for the same dollar value on both projects." So he was
I
going to
hope
take
they
that back.
appreciate that. I mean, we are trying to do the most that we can do on an annual basis.
That's
I
it,
know this
right?
is a lot of work doing it in phases.
So,
As far-
so I expect to hear from him again, probably within the next 2 weeks is my guess. We'll probably hear, if they have any questions or, if we just get our approval letter. And then once we get the approval letter, we can go through, we can date all of the drawing, and the specs and everything after that, put the project numbers on everything. And then we'll start to schedule the drawing approval, for this committee as well as, Board of Ed.
Okay, great.
So there'll be more to come. I'm not sure by the next meeting, but possibly by our next meeting.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
You know,
As far as the contract documents go, the drawings and specifications were essentially completed except for getting that number input from the state, getting an official project number and putting it all on the documents. And that'll allow me and Chris to put the numbers on the drawings and specifications and then complete the submission paperwork.
okay. Great. And we all know what sections we're going to be doing. Do we, if,
Hopefully,
Yeah.
all of it. It turns
hopefully
out,
all,
we do have a couple alternates at Eli Whitney, but Eli Whitney, although very similar to Barnard, is actually a little bit smaller. The classroom
Yep.
wings have a classroom taken off of each end. So
Yep.
I am very hopeful that we will be able to complete Eli Whitney in one phase. I said
Well,
hopeful.
okay.
That's good news.
That's really optimistic.
I think it will be one phase. If we get if we can get it on the street soon and get some competitive bids, we
Okay.
should be getting it done in one phase.
Okay, because I know the initial estimates were over $1 million on that, so we'll see. Also, our grand list hopefully will be going up, and maybe there'll be a little bit of extra money in case we need it to come close to the finish line with those. No, this is great news because it's February and we look like we actually know what we're doing. I can't. I mean, I hate the way we have, put everything down to the wire and it's just been, for me, so unprofessional how it wasn't our fault. It was just, that was the only way we could possibly do it. I mean, we didn't do it on purpose and anything like that. Okay. And so any questions from anybody on the Eli Whitney or the Hazardville Memorial roofs? Now, remember, we're going to be capturing the stone on the ballasted roof because we've got a request that stone would be captured and it could be given away to whoever would like this. It's like a river rock, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a nice rounded stone. Doesn't have sharp edges, jagged edges.
Right.
it's almost like a pea stone.
Right. So people could use this for landscaping material. Okay.
Yes.
So we would not have to pay for disposal of stone.
That has happened before.
Okay. Really? Well,
Towns have taken it and used it in landscaping.
oh, okay, great. Well, it is something we should be conscious of, recycling and reusing. The less that goes to the trash, the better, right, Donald?
Yes, keep
Mhm.
diverting
You can
things away
dump
from
it
the
in my
trash.
front yard. I'll use it.
Yeah, there we go. You already got a candidate there.
I need some throwing around my new pool. I live right around the
See?
corner.
See? Okay, the roof referendum, it's more of an update, and if anybody has any questions, it'll be probably at 6:15 on Monday. That'll be the special presentation at the council of the roof referendum. So, Donald, I see Jeff is on vacation. Will he be there for that or will you?
It's most likely going to be me right now, unless he decides that he's going to go to the meeting. But we did work on this last night, and I do have the the presentation. Pretty much it's all loaded and ready to go. If you folks want to look at it, it's up to you. I just want to confirm the name. Was that accurate with the referendum? Is that what we're sticking with?
The referendum. Scott, are you all set with that?
That's not what I would call it to the town council. That's how it could be marketed.
Oh, all right, because I went through and I changed every reference possibly.
Changed
No, you
everything,
didn't.
Well, how's that, Scott? Let's see.
Oh, I love it.
That's what Jeffrey said, so I ran with it.
I love it.
That's, you know,
That's
you tell
great.
me, because I gotta be able to change it on Monday then or something, so.
Well, there
I
would be
would
no
leave it.
hidden surprises as to what it would be about.
I say leave it,
Referendum.
man.
Beautiful.
Referendum works.
I say leave it. I say leave
I-
it.
I
My
like
vote,
it.
keep it.
I think I'm gonna put in parentheses a Scott Ryder ism or something like, I gotta figure out
Right,
some
there you go.
fancy little term for it, but,
The better case, the better question is who came up with the design? It's very present-like.
That's a template.
yeah. So Joe, again, we updated all this stuff like that. It's gonna be, you know, how we did it, and you folks have seen this before, but this is what that he is proposing, again, DPW is proposing. Let me just rewrite that, so.
Right.
Um,
And there any buildings that happen to be on the slate for, you know, sale or, you know, removed from use doesn't appear anywhere in the report. That's always something that, you know,
Right, we do have a continuation list here.
okay.
And so we, you know, again, you change the numbers to that. So everything, we're ready to
Well,
go.
the EMS is one of those ones that, you know, it appears on the list, and that's one of those things that's slated to be moved.
Yeah, it's just a function of when, you know. So-
Okay,
But again, this is, I mean, we can see like we did with the roads program. You can list all these things. You can, as long as they're on the list, you can pick and choose which one to do if there's extra
Yep.
money for it. So it doesn't, this isn't it's not like a bid where you got to take them in order. As long as they're listed, like we have here, we should, and if it does pass, then we can pick and choose after the fact.
oh, okay, so these are the additional ones. Okay.
Right, and again, you can pick and choose. You don't have to follow them in order, so.
Okay,
But again, I'm just gonna hover and go back to that. So again, if everybody agrees with this, this is what we're gonna present, we're gonna go
Yep.
forward.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I think it did a great job.
yeah,
Again, this is plastered everywhere, so it's, it's, I don't know, let me know.
okay.
It is
sounds-
absolutely the way to go.
All right,
Yep.
you're, as long as.
Leave it as is. It's perfect.
I think
Okay.
we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see if the town council's got a sense of humor. I think this is great. That's fabulous.
Well.
How do we get people's
Definitely-
attention about roofs? This is the way to do
It
it.
de-
It's great.
Yeah, it definitely would have been the way I would have suggested marketing it, and calling it that is perfect. I love it. I just
Right.
didn't think you actually did it.
The only thing that I haven't figured, I gotta get John Wilcox. I gotta get them to update this if it's 15 million or 13.5. I gotta have them change the debt service thing. I'm still waiting on that from John.
Oh, okay,
Because this,
Okay.
what was provided before was for 15 million, and I don't want to, you know, again, it's gonna change. I don't want to put that out there.
Is the 13 million, and I apologize, I don't know all the names of all the schools. Is the 13 million just the schools, and then the town buildings is the additional 2.5 or 2.3?
It's a
no.
It's a
No.
mix.
Yeah, there's the public safety, the police department,
in there.
and the annex
yeah.
are in there. And those are not school buildings.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I
So
see
they're
that.
not eligible for
They're
reimbursement.
not reimbursable.
So,
Right.
Well, 5.8 is reimbursable.
Right.
Yep. I see that now. Sorry. Okay. And then what's the continuation list for?
Well, Alcorn also is not reimbursable.
So Chris, if let's say we get favorable pricing and all the ones on the original list come in at $12 million, and there's $1.5 million left. The council, or again, you folks can decide on whether to spend the remaining 1.5 on the project listed in continuation list, or pay down the debt, or do whatever they want with it. So we have to list it. Otherwise, we can't go out to, we can't just we can't use that money afterwards. If we didn't list this and we came in at 12 million, we'd have to give that 1.5 back somehow.
Correct. Yep. Donna, just to your point, Board of Ed or central office, however you want to call it, the state refers to the same space as both names. That sometimes does carry a partial reimbursement.
Okay.
Okay.
So the only challenge we would have is we would probably have to identify how much of Elkhorn is truly Board of Ed space, and then that percentage of, I would think it would be that percentage of the roof would be, let's say Board of Ed occupies 30% of the building, then my guess is they would probably take 30% of the roof square footage and possibly apply a reduced reimbursement rate to that 30%. So, but I can confirm that. I could try and confirm that with the state before you present this at the next council meeting.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Sure.
We'll take it.
Yeah,
Take the
because-
dollar amount reimbursed. So that's good. And they do occupy a fair percentage. It's a good third, if not a little more. So that's fine.
About a third, you said, Donald?
Yeah, I'd say a third.
Okay.
One whole floor and a couple little things here and there.
What's in the rest of that building? Is it still program space?
Third floor is IT and the Joint Operations Center, which is comprised of, that's when there's an emergency in town and police and fire, we all get together in that room for an emergency. And the bottom floor is going to be youth services and social services mixed in with the transitional academy, which is a school function.
Okay. All right, that's helpful, so I can explain the utilization to the state.
Okay.
Just right now, what does the reimbursement on this look like?
Right now through,
Potentially
it's-
5.8.
so if the referendum, when would the referendum be? In November?
Yes.
So the current reimbursement rate of 70% expires on June 30th of this year. You will have a new reimbursement rate on July 1 of 2021. That reimbursement rate would be locked in for all of the roof grants that are included in the referendum, because technically your funding approval for all the projects will be the same date being the referendum. So you would lock in the new reimbursement rate for this coming fiscal year should the referendum pass in November. I don't know what the new reimbursement rate is. The new ones are not published yet. They should be published probably by the end of March. But just assuming everyone is trending down about 0.5%, so you're probably looking at 69.6%, somewhere in there. 69.7, give or take. So that would be what your rate is for all of the grant projects.
Okay.
All of the grant projects that are for the educational facilities, not the state.
Correct.
Or sorry, not the town. Not the town.
Not the
roofs.
municipal. Correct.
Right.
Yeah, town roofs there's no reimbursement.
And then this is the timeline that we're going to have to adhere to get this done in a
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of steps, but it's gonna go really fast, and Donna,
Right.
you've lived through a few referendums, with the roofs and things. It goes by quick because again, there's just so many steps involved, but the real important one is gonna be the one, in August, to have the public hearing. Then actually, when that, then we're gonna have the last day to approve it through council is gonna be on the 18th. Then that's also the last day we're gonna have to do that to notify the Secretary of State. So basically, when you notify them, it's gonna be the next day we send it out, then it'll get on the ballot. That's good. But there is a lot of steps in between that we really must attend to. So we'll,
Yeah.
like on the 11th, on March 11th, already up here. So once we get the feedback from council on Monday, folks come back, we'll talk about it. And if there's any corporation, any changes we need to do, then we just kind of keep going through and chugging through. So,
Well, what we'll do is we'll keep it on our agenda, should the council decide to move forward with it, we'll keep it on our agenda so that we'll keep the ball bouncing in the court so that it doesn't, get lost at budget time, which is what happens a lot. So,
yeah, I mean, it's good that, again, it's on next Monday, they're starting again, and hopefully, again, I don't know how to really get that start. Again, like I said, we're gonna do the presentation, but I guess I don't know if you're gonna make a motion, or I don't know how you're gonna do that, Donna, to either go ahead, or I don't know if this is an informational thing. I mean, if you can, feel free to.
Right now,
offer some guidance
it's
here.
I'm thinking that if I'm reading everybody correctly, I believe it will move forward to go to referendum.
Okay.
And I'm getting a head nod from Charlotte. And I think that's, we need to do that. So,
Donna, you're talking about moving ahead on Monday night, the 1st?
it's not on the agenda, but we can put it on the agenda for the 11th that it will, or no, it's not the 11th. It's the next meeting. It would be the
15th.
15th. So
Okay.
we would, or 16th, and we would just do it then, or do it at budget time or whatever. However the agenda gets made, it'll get moved forward. The most important thing is that we do the public hearing.
Yeah,
If we don't do the public hearing, we're not going anywhere.
yeah.
But that's months away, and now that time in between now and then, it said that we got to report to bond council, they got to do all that other stuff, but it gives you all that time to kind of finalize it and go through and start the the promotion, if you will. But again, if my goal on Monday is just to present this, and it's not like a consent agenda item, or it's not on the agenda, then it's just going to be an informational thing. Then I don't know. So then, Donna, you're going to have to talk with Chris, or to advance that forward to a vote, if
Right.
you will, or however.
Well, because we've all seen it, a number of times, so we fully understand it. Most of the council has not seen this.
Yep, I agree.
They haven't seen the umpteen million ones we saw where they were large and small and just schools, and they're going to see what we as a facilities committee feel is a referendum that's required because of the roof sizes and palatable because of the amount of money and the reimbursement that state. And I think that's what they have to understand and digest.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I suggest we send them the link to the YouTube video that we're making right now, and they can watch it before Monday.
Is that part of the mischief that you were talking about before, Walter?
Yes, this is the mischief we're all talking about when you don't have enough things to do.
Boy. Just a quick question. Do you have a prioritization of what roofs, in particular the school roofs, you want to do in the summer of 22 should this pass? Because if this passes November 3rd, you would want to get all of the paperwork in place, by the first 10 days in December to get the application in. It would be nice to hit that if we could.
All right, so Jeffrey is planning that out. Parkman and Public Safety Complex would be 22. Stowe, Alcorn would be 23. Prudence, Crandall is 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's broken down by the 5 years. So, and the last one would be the annex.
And
Where's the-
Parkman is a school, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it's an
Gotcha.
H school, the same
Okay.
size as Whitney.
Okay.
Where's the Whitney?
So-
Well, I know Tom's telling me he thinks he can do this in one phase, but if that doesn't happen, where's the phase 2 for
Whitney.
Whitney and Hazardville Memorial?
When you're looking at Eli Whitney, we have 2 alternates. When you're looking at the front of the building on the right, they're both on the right-hand side, that classroom wing to the right-hand side in the front and the one to the rear.
Okay. So that's,
But I thought Jeffrey said we were gonna do those at CIP next year.
Right. Those would be allocations probably just like we're doing the roofs right now, just regular
Yeah.
budget allocations.
okay. All right,
Because in theory, the dollar values for the remaining sections would be significantly less than what we're doing right now.
okay. Okay, well, those are questions that we have to get in our brain, I have to get in my brain to answer. You
Right.
know,
It would be like going from Barnard Phase 2 to Barnard Phase 3, where we did
Okay.
850 and then 53.
Yeah.
all right. And this is a 5-year roofing plan, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any more questions or comments on the rooferendum?
Yeah, I do. On the,
Go ahead, Bob.
on the annex, did we look for, an educational reimbursement on that building? Due to the fact that you have adult education and you have the alternative high school there occupying the whole second floor?
Yeah, my understanding, and Donna, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's officially a town building.
It is.
And it's
Okay.
officially given over as town, like I think
Alright.
it was, Donna,
Yeah,
you,
they didn't turn over Alcorn, Bob.
Yeah, okay.
Alcorn's
I'm
never
just,
been turned
just
over
wanted
to the
double-
town.
I just want to double check.
No, but that's a good
see.
point.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's a town building, it's still being utilized, and if we could get a reimbursement on that, that would be great. But if it's classified as a town building and you can't, but there's always an exception. You could always ask.
yeah, I don't know if Chris.
I can,
Yeah.
sure, I can double check. I can ask that question when I ask about Elkhorn as well.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Sure.
Okay, any more committee comments? Okay, we'll move on now to the energy performance contract update.
All right, so I talked with John Wilcox the other day, and we're all set to go. The TD Bank thing is all set, so that language is we're all set on that, and they are sending the termination notice by tomorrow to Honeywell. So we should be all set. I will send out
Okay.
something as a confirmation when it goes. As of right now, I could not confirm that it was that it has been sent out today, so I will do so tomorrow.
All
And I
right.
will send something out to you, then you would send it out to the,
Right, so this is a savings and also it's something that makes more sense since we've had such substantial changes in how we do business. I don't know how we could even evaluate our energy savings.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that we all know that we are saving energy.
Mhm.
And our street lights, we finally have them all lit, huh?
getting there. People stop knocking them
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
and so that helps too, you know?
Palumbo's like the wind, sometimes the lights are on, sometimes they're not. So it's just one of those things. So the streetlights though were a substantial savings.
Yes.
I mean, that's like what, 3/4? What is it? Almost 3/4 of the savings comes from the lights, the street lights themselves.
Yep, that was one of the best moves.
So
we did.
Donna, do you think we should have at least like a report on this, like that we say at the town council that this is how much we've saved so far?
We do get a report. We have done a report. Do we do it last year or the year before? The problem is that at this point, we probably should, Charlotte, do a report showing the savings. You know, unfortunately, it's really hard to when we have COVID non-used buildings, really. for
Yeah.
lack of- How do we even substantiate what we're doing there?
There was a significant skew in things like, there was like 3 months where we were shut down for the
Yeah.
most part. Like most of the buildings were shut down, a couple here and there. So really, and it's really going to skew our budget coming forward too. So we were relying on years before to set our operating budget and things like that. So it is difficult right now because again, like our, for heat, for gas consumption, for electricity, all that kind of stuff like that, things have changed a lot, and things are going to plane out again. But right now, it is kind of difficult to really understand without having that skewed months, 3 months or so. So
And
I
right
think
now
it'd
what
still
we're
be
doing
good
is-
to show, because I mean, all those people did vote for it. And well, here's your, even though we did have these exceptions, we did save. So the referendum did work.
Just showing what the street lights save every year.
Yeah, that's like a big thing.
Is something that and also going away from this third party reviewer that, is a savings in itself. So,
yep. So when I get confirmation tomorrow, I'll send it out to everybody.
okay, we'll get something. All right. Thanks, Donald. Good point, Charlotte. We'll keep people knowing what we're doing. Okay, clean energy. Melissa sent off the list to Green Bank, and we're just gonna let them tell us, if there are any, savings in putting solar panels on. We're looking specifically at the Henry Barnard School, the ground mounts down at the WPCA, Jablonski, and I'm trying to think of what the other one was. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me. So, the high school, and then when everything is done over at the middle school. So those are the things that we're looking to hear back on, and we'll be able to send something to council if they do see some savings. Transfer station. Donald, do we have
It's a wonderful place to be.
share a screen? Thank you.
So we went through. I went through it today. They submitted everything and talked about it. So there's many things obviously that are on here, but the total price, I'll get to it. The total estimate right now. Anybody with an over under? About $600,000.
Over.
Okay.
It's $600,000. So there's a few things on here that we're going to be able to do through, like, where is it? Like our fencing. We have a town contract for it where we can take that out of the contract itself, and we'll bid it. We'll take care of it ourselves outside of the bidding thing. But the entire project, soup to nuts, start to finish, about $600,000, and that's with the second.
Great. Which is under the referendum limit.
Yep.
And also, if the council finds, say, $400,000 in the budget, are there things that we can put off doing for another day?
Yep. I mean, there's so much that again we can pick and choose this, and I can manipulate this to make. Again, we can do some of it in CIP, some of it in bid. We'll find a way to do this. But I said I'd like I'd like to be able to bid it out again, like the relocation, the scale, these are actual numbers. We got quotes a few months ago. We got quotes for the scale house. We got real quotes for that. So those numbers were really kind of wild up and down. So we actually got real numbers for all those, and that's what they are. And so that helps get the accuracy of the estimate, if you will, a little tighter. So
And this is what you'll be bringing to the council at budget.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So could we just all get at least a copy of this so
Sure.
that we know what's, and if there's any questions or anything, because it's kind of hard to look at all these numbers and.
Yeah.
There any questions from the committee?
No, Donna, to your point, I was just gonna say, if we could get a copy of that to read, because I was trying to look at it while he was advancing through it.
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't
know,
see
I'm
all the
like-
numbers.
Yes,
No
yeah, I
problem.
think we need to look at it. I think we need to understand it. And I think that, having everything line itemed like this and understand, then this is part of the budget process that I guess the transfer station is maybe a little bit of a stretch of really what we would be tasked to do. And it's more, the budget would be the work of the council, but I think we've had a lot of input in reviewing the drawings through this process. And I think this committee is comfortable with the design. And once we look at this, we'll be comfortable with, when this goes to the council, they can decide what they can afford in this coming budget.
Yes.
Any more comments, questions, concerns? Tim?
Don, the tentative date to get this started is to get it done through this budget, correct? That's why it came in under the referendum cost and so on. But the idea, those numbers that you put together, Donald, are current numbers. If we go out a year or two, those numbers will change, and maybe even dramatically. So we're kind of putting our sights on getting it done started within the next year.
Yes,
Correct?
that would be the goal. That's why I wanted to get again, the drawings done, because it takes a long time. The
Yeah.
drawings are done, they're working on the specs. The specs are another month another month. And by the time the review hits, it's gonna be like, April, May. Then even if we put it out on the street and we don't have the money for it, or something happens, we don't get it, we can still withdraw. But if it's good, we're ready to go and let them go, so that's the real
what- yeah.
goal, is to make sure that come July 1, we kind of know we know the actual number, and we may be able to adjust and start the project on July 1 in theory.
Yeah, that's why the design money was appropriated for this year, because we had money in the budget, but with budget cuts and keeping our mill rate, at a zero increase, there wasn't any money to actually do the design and start the work. So we opted to do the design, be ready for this year's budget, so that money could be budgeted in there. It wasn't designed to be below the referendum limit. It just happens to be one of those projects that is below the referendum limit.
I understand. My concern is, I know that Donald talked about they can be more flexible and stuff like that. If we get any tremendous flexibility in here, it'll get put off, and then the price automatically goes up. That's my concern. And then it gets lost.
4% a year.
I know, at least.
That's, yeah.
So
I think that we've done a good job.
Careful how we present it.
Scott?
Right, I was gonna say, I think we've done a good job presenting how important this is.
Yep.
And the working conditions for the few folks that are there doing this task that the whole
Correct.
town benefits from.
Correct.
So I would continue to emphasize that, and please get whatever we can get to get this.
Right, and I think that also, I think that, this will go forward with the endorsement of this committee. And also, this is what public hearings are about on the budget.
Yeah.
They're about, even if you're involved in it, to speak up for these projects. You know, a lot of times we go to the public hearings and nobody shows up,
I know.
you know, and it's like, you know, a lot of work goes into these budgets all year long to get projects and to understand how they move forward. So, you know, lobby your town councilor.
I am.
There you go. Call Joey because you're District 1.
I'll camp outside his door.
Okay. All right. Any more comments, concerns, questions, or anything you need from us on the transfer station, Donald?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I just want to give credit where credit's due. This is Doug McSellan's little baby, and he's the one that started it, so we should give him the credit that we've got it to this point. And he started.
Absolutely.
I like to point out that we're doing a lot of the work.
Well, I know. I just,
You know,
He brought it.
You know what Thomas Edison said.
Well, how many years ago did he bring it to our attention? So,
You know what Thomas Edison said.
yeah.
So that being said,
In case he's listening, I want to know that we're acknowledging him.
1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. I think there's been a lot of people working really hard on this. So, you know, Donald, thank you to your crew and everybody. And I you know, for me, I think it's really important that facility at this point is upgraded to something that's
There's many that
long
share,
overdue.
there's many that
Agreed.
share sentiment. So, thank you.
All right. We have our little joint facilities communication. Scott, been doing a great job there. Is there anything more you want to add?
No, I'll continue to post these meetings after they've occurred. 3 or 4 days out of each meeting, I remind the public of the link for them, of our agenda links, etc. So just moving forward.
You know, we try to put stuff in the agenda so that everybody kind of knows, you know, what we're going to talk about, and, you know, and I know they look repetitive over and over and over again, but I don't take it off the agenda till it's done. So if you want to see this agenda get smaller, we'll have to get some work done.
Also, under the heading of communications, I would encourage anybody watching to go to the Town of Enfield's website, and you can sign up and get these email notifications. So we've tried to take it that one extra step, and we have a Facebook page, and we push it out that way. But if you actually go to the Town of Enfield's website, I did that years ago. I get notifications for everything. Some committees I didn't even know existed prior to that. Half of them were all on. So it's, again, another great way to do that. So we'll post about that in the next day or two, where to sign up to enter your own email address and to make sure you're getting these notifications right in your email.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Go on to new business, invoice approval. Okay, take a motion to approve the Fuston O'Neill invoice number 0229113, February 21st, 2021, in the amount of $11,176.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Tim moved, Scott second, all in favor, show of hands.
Aye.
Okay, all present approve. Next one is the Hibbard and Rosa for Hazardville Memorial School, February 10th, 2021, for $6,493 and I believe 0 cents.
So moved.
Second.
Walter, second by Tim. All in favor, show of hands. And the third invoice is Hubbard and Rosa for Eli Whitney School, February 10th, 2021, for $6,493.00.
So moved.
Second. I have a question about this one.
Yes,
It's
go ahead,
because
Tim.
part of it's because the money's exactly the same, but it says the original contract was $9,990, paid to date $6,493, but the current fee is billing more than what we allocated.
Oh, that must be, I'll have to check. That must be a typo. I'm sorry. So far, I
Yeah.
haven't been paid anything.
Right,
So-
okay.
It
Okay,
just
that
didn't,
must, I'll check that. That must be a typo.
Walter, I
Okay.
wanted you to know I did read the agenda. That's how I came up with that.
They want to
Right,
read the
and-
invoices. I sent out the invoices to everybody.
I know, that's what
Yeah.
Right, and I looked at the amounts being billed and didn't look at the,
I missed it too, sorry.
I missed it.
what do we have to do? Do we have to wait till it's presented correctly or fix it and move it on?
let's fix it. I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up now.
Okay, pull it up now.
The Eli Whitney, oh, crap.
I have them
It
right
should be a
here.
zero there, shouldn't it?
Where the heck did it go? I just had it, there it is.
The one for Hazardville is right, and the one for Eli Whitney says that we've paid 6,000 already.
Yeah.
Oh, so the paid to date should say zero.
It
Correct.
should be the same as the one before it, I think.
Right,
Yeah.
the one for Whitney says that we've paid 64.9350 already.
Yeah, but then the current
It
fee
should
for
say
billing.
0.
Well, I don't know. It should be the other way around. I think zero should be paid to date and then you're paying
Right, paid
64.
to date should
Yeah.
be zero.
So I amend the motion for the invoice, the total amount, $9,990. Paid to date, zero. Current fee billing, $6,493.50.
Second.
Okay, so
So
I have a motion to correct the invoice to show zero paid to date. All in favor of correcting the invoice? Okay, now we have a motion on accepting the corrected invoice for Eli Whitney, February 10, 2021 for $6,493.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, Walter, second by Tim, all in favor, show of hands.
Aye.
Okay, Charlotte, you in favor? Okay, everyone's in favor of the corrected invoice. And Donald, are you all set with those can be submitted or all right to Deb?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
take care of it.
I
Yep.
just didn't know if I needed to swing by and do anything.
I can get them over to Deborah if that's easier for you.
Okay. So the last thing on the agenda is new business. I guess I started looking at, I've been doing this for a while. Tim's been doing this for a while. I think Walter, you've been at it, from day one. This started with an initial analysis in 2014 of $101 million worth of maintenance and improvements, that needed to be done. Been working at it now for 6 years. We're on year 7, and a lot of work has been done. Somehow, it would be really nice, Charlotte, I'm taking a cue from you to tell people, what have we done? What
You're
have we
correct.
done?
Do
And
it, yeah.
I'm open to suggestions as to how do we enumerate that? How do we display that? I mean, I think my brain started thinking this way when Green Bank asked for, buildings that they can look at that for possible solar. And I started by updating the spreadsheet. And it's like, we need to update and we need to tell people, where do we need to go from there? How many years did it take us to get a facilities person? 4?
Yeah.
5?
But Donna, we had no process. We had no blueprints. We had no schedule. We had no
nothing.
warranties on the roofs. Like, you
We had
almost don't
nothing.
want to go through it because it was just so bad.
Yep. Yep, we looked at things like, we need to put grass seed in, and we said, yeah, right, like, we don't care about the grass seed, somebody figured that out. We're into we got bigger fish to fry.
Not
So-
before we remove the asbestos from the soil, you know?
Right. So how does this committee feel that we can, I guess, enumerate and show the work that's been done?
Why don't we,
Charlotte?
why
Is
don't
there
you-
like a visual aid we could use somehow? Because I think people are better with like seeing it instead of like listening it all.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We
Slideshow.
need a visual aid.
Little slideshow video kind of thing.
You know, and then things that were when we first started out, it was like, oh, you guys aren't looking at the annex because that's going to be a big referendum down the road. But as we found out that really doesn't happen, because as we moved things around and did things, we were started to use that building. Charlotte? Any more?
No, I mean, Jonathan had a good idea, like a slideshow. That might be kind of cool to show that what we've already done. And,
I'm
like,
thinking with
what-
something like that too, you could, every now and then throw it on ETV or something like that, as well.
Because I think we do need to do a presentation to the council. I think,
It's, Donna, I think it's more than a presentation. We should look at it as an educational project as to how things get done in this town. And then this was the plan, this is the process we go, but we have a very well articulated process right now. It's working, okay? And then quantify with the video, whatever, of what's been accomplished in terms of the roofs, the plan, the long-term plan that you guys took up at the council a couple of weeks ago, in terms of the buildings that we identified. Yeah, we've been talking about the Strand for 25 years. You finally made a decision on it. And all those things rolled in as we evolve from one committee that wasn't functional to a committee now that is functional and gets it done. We have people who are in charge of all this stuff. And I think it's the process you can use to educate the public about how things get done and what their tax dollars are being used for. I think it's a good opportunity, and I think if we can do it, we should take advantage of it. Just my 2
I think
cents.
it's a lot of work. It's really,
Everything we've done is a lot of work, Donna.
I just, I feel overwhelmed by what's, when the staff was able to present the reorganization of buildings, it was sort of like with all the work that's been done by this committee, it opened the doors and gave them the building blocks that they needed
Right.
to do everything that they're going to be doing. And Bethany?
Donna, do you have that original spreadsheet?
Oh, I
Yeah.
carry it
Yeah,
with me,
I have it.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Bethany?
So like, what if we took that original spreadsheet and like showed that and then took it down to like what we've already done and what's
Good.
in the works
Yeah.
and then what is future things that we need to deal with. And
Yeah.
then they can see the progression of where we are and we have a plan, because all those spreadsheets that Jeff has made with the roofs, like here's the plan for this, here's the plan for all the things that we have. Those are things that the people of the town should know that, hey, we do have a plan and here it is.
But put dollars together with it that you've saved, how we've supported the infrastructure. We've saved the town money by having a plan on how to improve the infrastructure. They've got to see where their
You
tax
realize
dollars
how much
go.
work that takes? I mean, our
Yes, I
staff was.
do.
that. Let Bethany talk. She has an idea.
Good. She volunteering?
Yeah.
Go, Bethany, go.
Visual idea is really important because we just know how visual everyone is. Like, we put out
Yeah.
information in letter form every day and we still get the questions that are out there in letter form. So I think the visual part is really important. And I think, if we could work together or come up with ideas for kind of a storyboard, like Charlotte said, on how that would be
Yeah.
outlined, I almost wonder, like, I've seen some amazing things come out of our high school students, like through the community action class. And like those students actually made videos to promote their project and like had created cartoons. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like we put stuff on poster boards when I was in high school and the stuff they came up with. And I know there's kids out there looking for volunteer hours to meet their criterias for National Honor Society and things like that. So I just wonder if there's something we can jointly do with, say, the school or just kids who want to volunteer to help.
That's a good idea.
You know, kind of a Enfield in motion and what we've done
That's a
over
really good idea. That's a really good
Yeah.
idea. What if we invited some of them to come to a facilities meeting if there was interest? They can help us and we can help them get the hours that they need and the experience. And
Maybe
it's a
we
good
could
way
talk
showcase
to-
our kids.
I think maybe you could talk to Chris Drezik or Michelle Middleton, curriculum director, and talk to the teachers of those classes and brainstorm with them and then get the kids in.
Maybe
Because
Bethany
makes-
knows them.
I think we have Board of Ed members that know them more than I do, but
Well,
Yeah,
Jonathan,
they're still gonna need to-
maybe you could bring it up at curriculum next meeting. Jonathan's the chairman of curriculum. Maybe you could bring it up at curriculum.
Oh, no, I didn't hear whose name you said.
No,
I was just
Jonathan.
gonna
I'm sorry,
say-
Jonathan.
I can definitely mention something to Michelle next time I see her. Or
Yeah.
even beforehand, I can shoot her an email or something. I like that idea. I really
Scott, what was your idea?
Well, no, they're still gonna need the data to animate or
Oh.
to do what we need to do. So we can't just throw this at them without the data. So yeah,
Of
I'll
course.
make sure that was a piece of.
Well, maybe it needs to be a timeline.
if it's not through curriculum, you know, if it's not a class, then it, you know, they have plenty of clubs. And
Right, but even if it's a timeline, they need the data, like the dates.
They need the data,
the
but I think it,
projects.
right, like I said, we help them put together a storyboard as far as what, you know, we would like to see, and then have them actually just do the production portion of it.
Right. I just,
think-
as somebody that does video production, I just wanted this group to know that we'd have to give them a lot for them to then animate or do whatever they're gonna do with it. That's all.
right.
And we have to also see if they can work around it with COVID, because that's an impediment to getting any of the clubs and stuff like that working.
Oh,
That's-
come on, Tim, we're all getting our vaccine. We're all gonna be walking on water pretty soon.
Okay, after Tuesday, I will be, so that's fine.
Okay.
I just think I think you should touch base. I think all the ideas are good there, but I think you got to touch base with the people who can kind of make it happen. And I think we have to get to the superintendent, curriculum director, the teachers, and see if it's something that they think can be pulled off. And whether their kids, they can introduce to their kids and see if they're interested, and whether the COVID restrictions allow them to do it. It's just a reality.
Right. I mean, you have to remember when this committee started, there was not even, I mean, the town had taken over the school buildings. They did not even know that there was, you know, state reimbursement for roofs. I mean, the lack of knowledge of what we needed to do was substantial.
The only reason we knew we had a problem with roofs is that they leaked. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had no plan. We had no warranties. We had no timeline. We didn't know when they were all done last.
We had Board of Ed stuff that wasn't done in a timely fashion that we did not know was not done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, that was, you know, a huge stumbling block. I mean, we were stunned to find out the roofs hadn't been done since the 80s.
Correct. But we had no plan for it. At the time, the whole town, we didn't look at it as a town. We looked at it as different entities. It was your fault. It's your fault. We're all working together to make it happen. That's a big deal.
Yep. That is a big deal, Tim. That's a huge big deal that we're all working together to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that out there because I mean, I think it's something that needs to be done. And I think these are all really great ideas. And I think that we need to really sit and understand, you know, what we've done and what we've become. I mean, right now, we're the standing, building committee for roofs. You don't get reimbursement if you don't have a building committee.
Right.
And you can't do these things in phases and have to keep, reassembling a building committee every year. So, I mean, there's been so many things. We've had to function as a pre-ref committee.
Yeah.
We've stepped in wherever the council has asked us to do things, and we've done them. And I think it's always important to tell people what we've done, because
Agreed.
they never know what we've done. They always keep
Yep.
saying, "What are you doing?" So
Can you
so
keep it
think
on the
of that.
agenda?
It'll be on the agenda now. And it'll
Keep
move
it
up
on
to
the
old
agenda.
business.
And maybe some of these folks can reach out to the superintendent, to Michelle Middleton, and bring that information back to the next, that's only 2 weeks from now, back to the next meeting, just to see
Yeah.
what's possible on their part. It's a good
Yeah.
idea.
It's
And
good.
Bethany's right, it needs to be visual. It has to be visual, and it has to, have a structure to it, and that would be important.
Do we still have the
Well-
ACES program at the high
Pardon?
school? Do we still have ACE? Does anybody know what ACE is other than me?
I think they tried to do it during the construction and I don't think it ever took off.
It never took
so-
off.
Yeah, I believe they tried to do meetings, and then with COVID, everything,
Okay.
a lot of those
Yeah, I
clubs
don't know
got
how that, I
dissolved.
don't know how, since I retired, I don't really know how it functions anymore. I know Gilbane had a branch that they started at Enfield High. I do know, there've been some students from Enfield that have participated in ACE pre-COVID that, are now gone on to be architects and engineers.
Yeah.
Which, maybe we get, that's always, an interest in some students, so we might look at that as well. Yeah, COVID's really put a crink in everything that we do.
Made it a lot more difficult.
Yep, but look at all the things we can do.
That's right.
I mean, a year ago, none of us knew how to get on all these meetings and do all this stuff and, really able to, share all the work, more readily with everybody. So with every negatives, there always are positives.
But Donna, there's also been a continuity of folks that have been sitting on these committees. So you don't have to create another committee who doesn't have any background. The people who keep coming and signing up are all busy people, but they take an interest in making sure that we're all up to date. And we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we have an idea.
Right, and the citizens that get put on this committee, it's a lifetime commitment.
That's what I hear.
So, right, so, okay, so if I don't have any other comments, or please,
Donna, can
everybody, bring something, look at these ideas and see, how you would like to do this, because I'm like fresh out of ideas.
Can I just
I
add
mean,
whatever?
I can update the spreadsheet. Jonathan?
Yeah, just whatever. I don't know what kind of timeline we're looking at, for the undertaking of this, but I think it'd be, important to have some kind of timeline that it gives us enough time before the referendum for people can have a better representation and can go into that referendum knowing some of the stuff we've already accomplished. So just enough time between November and now where this thing could be out for an extended period of time for enough of the public has the opportunity to see it before they go to the ballots.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of thinking, summer, maybe July or something like that we could do it at the one meeting of the council, or I don't want it to get, I want to do it, but I don't, I want the referendum to be our one of our shining stars, but I agree with you. We need to show success with everything else that we've done. I mean, this group actually did the performance contract. And that was prior to it becoming this size group. They did that in conjunction with Clean Energy. So there's been, 2 referendums that this committee has acted as the pre-ref committee. So, we have a pretty good track record and we have people who are willing to advertise and get out there and do the legwork that's required. I know, Scott and his crew did a lot for the JFK one. Melissa and I did a lot for the performance contract. So, there's been, people always step up to the plate and get stuff done. So that being said, any other comments from the committee? All talked out? Okay.
Great job, Donald, for filling in for Jeff.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yep. Oh, we missed him.
What's that, Don?
Yep. He's probably.
Yeah,
just
we
trying
missed
to-
him, and also we didn't see a request form for him taking the meeting off either, so we gotta work on that.
Right. So our next meeting will be the 11th of March, when it'll be like a year of, that's like the anniversary date of everything went, oh my God, what's going on? I remember, coming home on an airplane on the 10th of March and really not having a full understanding of what was going to happen, and what was happening. What happens when you go on vacation? So hopefully this doesn't happen to Jeff and he comes back and he's still, knowing what's going on.
All right, I'll say motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Hey,
All right.
everyone, thank you.
Have a
All
good one,
right,
everyone.
see you later.